to go beyond your past or to, let's say, get illuminated or whatever, you have to drop down your ego or your identity, etc. But personally, I find this I'm quite afraid of this because I'm a psychologist and I know identity is me, and people without identity are schizophrenic or crazy, so I'm really afraid to do this step because I think then I will be nobody or I will be out of my mind or crazy. So for me it's a kind of fear. I mean, how can I live myself, my identity, my ego, and live without it? How is it possible to live without an ego or an identity or whatever?
It's a beautiful question to start this evening with. Could we all get the question clear to everybody? So while it is very commonly and frequently said, it is an axiom in the spiritual world that one has to drop his identities. It is also equally a fact that when it comes to really dropping the identities or even thinking about that dropping, the mind experiences a certain fear. We want to take that up. What is meant by identities, their elimination, and what is this fear? When I say I have an identity, we'll all together go close to it because it is not only one man's question. This question belongs to all of us, right? We all experience this. When we talk of an identity, what actually it is? On the ground, what actually is it?
Memories, character, stories.
Mechanism.
It's a
Survival mechanism.
It's a survival mechanism.
Preferences.
Yes, all of that. But can we come even closer to the moment, even closer to the fact? For example, if at this moment you have an identity, what would that mean?
Thought wave.
A thought wave, right. And what would that thought wave say?
Just an image or idea of who you think you are.
It is certain that,
Identifications.
Identifications. What would that say? Identification is a technical word. I want to get as close to it as possible. I want to say that I don't know any of these psychological or spiritual words.
Labels.
I know none of them. I just want, as a layman, as a bare layman, I want to understand what would happen if at this moment I am carrying identities.
Feeling me, I, this feeling.
Yes, and so what would happen? So here we are together.
Control.
Feeling in control. Yes, I would feel in control. And then what is happening? So we are sitting together and we are identified. As a result of which there is this feeling in control, there is that thought wave, there is identification and all of that. But separatedness. From what?
From others here.
From others here and from everything. All right. So let's take a concrete example. One of the identities that you could be entangled with at this moment might be the identity of a person. More contract. Gender. I'm a woman. Or
Religion.
okay. So I am a Christian or a Jew, or
My way of life.
I'm a father or a mother, or
I'm a traveler.
I'm a traveler. Something. And with every identity comes, as somebody very nicely said, thought. What would thought do to this moment?
Judges. Thought makes it to a story and takes us out of the moment.
Okay, so let's have an experiment. So the lady said something. And if some of us are thinking, what would happen to what she said? Let's say you are busy thinking. What would happen to what she said? She just said something and you are thinking. Now what would happen?
Don't hear, wouldn't be heard.
You won't hear, right? You won't hear. And even if you hear, what would happen to what you hear?
You filter it through your own.
Yes, wonderful. It would be filtered, it would be distorted, integrated, co-opted. It would be somehow disfigured to fit into the existing pattern of the identity-bound thought. There is a thought going on and the thought deals with an identity. Suppose identity is, I am a father. And suppose the man there says something about education. Now what he has said about education has been said in a general, let's say a spiritual context. But the man is thinking about his identity as a father. Or let's just say the man is thinking in his identity as a father. He hears the word education. Immediately he takes in education to mean he is talking of spiritual education. He is sitting here as a papa, father. Immediately education would now mean
Going to school, get a job, get it, and future.
Right? He utters the word, let's say, give me any word. Responsibility. He says responsibility. And by responsibility, he's probably meaning the responsibility of the ego towards the self. Right? But here we have a father sitting. So what would the father hear?
Responsibility towards kids. Good father, like things like that.
He utters another word. Give me any word. He says terrorism. What would the father hear?
Fear of his family.
Is my child safe in school?
Yes.
He has said terrorism, and by terrorism he is referring to a general global problem. And what does the father hear? Is my kid safe in school? Now, having said terrorism, he moves on. And what is the father doing? Worrying about the kid still stuck. So, in identities, let me use the word, you are always a misfit. You are always lagging behind existence. You are always lagging behind the happening or trying to run ahead of it. The happening is ever so subtle. It gives you no chance to catch up. You are either with it or you are not with it. In identities, you are never with it. Now, what is meant by dropping of identities? Dropping of identities does not mean becoming a nobody. The moment you say, I'll be a nobody, that is akin to saying, I am dead. And that very thought itself will prevent the happening. Dropping of identity simply means having the identity that is needed at that moment. So all of us surely do have an identity right now, but that identity is a non-sticky identity. That identity would be no more after half an hour or after 15 minutes and put in purely even after 2 seconds. Yes.
You couldn't call that identity, could you? Or identity is supposed to
I'm calling the identity just so that this fear of no identity can be taken care of. See, it is not as if you have no identity. You have an identity which is dynamic. And since it is dynamic, it is not an identity. Yes, technically you are very right. It is not an identity because identity is supposed to persist. Identity is supposed to carry on. It's supposed to have a life, a longevity. But because the moment you utter that you have to drop everything and let yourself float free in space, that is so horrifying, is that not?
Yes.
You are told you are not the body, you are not the mind, and immediately you feel like rebelling. Then who am I? You are told you are the great Atman, and what is that? That is nothing. So what does all of this mean? Committing suicide? And that is great barrier. Is that not a barrier? No. Spirituality is surely a dissolution, but it is also a great achievement. It is just that the dissolution is of all that we are familiar with, and the achievement is of something that we probably do not consciously know. So it appears as if we are losing everything and gaining nothing. It appears a greatly loss-making transaction. You know, it is a kind of a transaction in which when you look at the cost side, you find everything. You find your identity is gone, the world gone, relationships gone, possessiveness gone, possessions gone, thoughts gone, beliefs gone, body gone, mind gone. So all that is on the cost side. This is the price that I am paying. And what am I getting in return? You are told you are getting an abstract principle in return. What is that principle? Brahm. Can I eat it? No. Can I touch it? No. Can I smell it? No. Can I wear it? No. Now that is quite incredulous. You really want me to buy this? You are saying give up everything, give up the highest price possible. The cost is infinite. And benefits, don't talk of benefits, you greedy fellow. By talking of benefits, you are only sustaining your ego. Right? That is the kind of argument that is meted out. And when you hear this argument, obviously you would be afraid. There is nothing abnormal about it. There is nothing insane about it. Hence, it is needed that we understand that the profit side is not blank. It is not that you lose all your identities. It is just that you gain an infinite number of identities. It is not that you become totally supportless and groundless. It is just that you gain an infinite variety of supports. You surely are somebody at this moment. It is not that you are nobody. But what you are is not going to stick to you, is not going to demand a fruit from you. It is there, and then it would no more be there because it would be replaced by something more befitting and suitable. Like the water. You could either say it has no shape, or you could either say that water has no shape, water or air or any fluid. You could either say that they have no shape, or you could say that
it takes any shape.
It takes the shape of the
Container.
Takes the shape of the
recipient.
Yes, the recipient, the container. And thereby it does have a shape. Now no shape is always going to be scary to the mind because the mind deals only in shapes, objects, things. It needs something to hold on to. Now you give it nothing, and that is a sure shot invitation to the mind to reject what you are offering. If you are your friend, if you want your ego to come along with you, if you don't want your ego to offer unnecessary resistance, then you should not pose it with questions or statements that it would find totally unpalatable. So an infinite number of identities. Who am I? Not nobody. I am this right now, and that then, and then that, and then that, and then that, and then that, and then that. All and nothing. Not only nothing. All and nothing. All, hence nothing. Nothing, hence all. Now, does that still sound scary?
Not much.
Not that much. Not that much. Not that much. The spiritual man is not a renouncer of the world. Spirituality is not for free space. Spirituality is for the person. The person is in the world, at least in his eyes. At least in his own consideration, the person exists in the world. So spirituality has to take care of the person and his concerns. It is not asking the person to just let go of everything. Please understand this. You can never let go of everything in thought. Whenever you will say, now there is nothing, the mind, because it is accustomed to dealing in objects, will form an image of nothing also. So there is no use in saying that I am a nobody. The mind will form an image of nobody. Okay, try to imagine what you would be like after you have dropped everything. Do you see that you can still try and form some kind of an image, even if a hazy image? You at least feel like trying to have an image, and that is what would happen. When it is said that you are Shunyata or Atman or Brahm, or Anand or Mukti, you do form images. And when images have to be formed, then why keep asserting that of which there can be no image? Right? So keep the language suitable to the mind. Keep the language in a way that the mind would not automatically reject.
So one of the greatest spiritual luminaries, Gautama the Buddha, he took this language of the nothingness.
He took this language of nothingness in a particular context. Was he operating in a vacuum? Was he talking to people who had zero backgrounds? To whom was the Shakyamuni Buddha talking? Who are the people he was talking to? What was the situation of this country in the 5th and 6th century BC? I said we have to take care of the mind that is being talked to, whether it is our own mind or the mind of the person in front of us. Gautam Buddha was talking to people who had great belief in the Atman, and they had such great belief that they had conflated the ego with the Atman. Now to talk of the grandness of Atman would have been the same as talking of the grandness of ego. If you are somebody who has equated ego with the Atman, and if I say Atman is great, then what do you hear? In your mind you have equated ego with Atman, and I am saying the Atman is the highest. Now what are you hearing?
I am
So-
the highest.
I am the highest, the ego is the highest. So that is the reason why in that context the Buddha had to take a word diametrically opposed to the Atman. He said Anatman or Anatta. He was giving us a lesson in teaching. He was telling us a lesson in speaking. How to convince the other. And convincing the other can happen only when you first have been able to convince your own mind. See, the mind can never be dissolved against its own wish. It has that freedom. Because it arises from a center of freedom, the mind retains its basic freedom to say yes or no to dissolution. You cannot force the mind to gain liberation. You cannot make enlightenment compulsory for a country. All of you must be enlightened by the age of 22. Otherwise, your voter ID cards will be confiscated. Are you enlightened? Where is the permit? Where is the license? The mind has to be counseled. The mind has to be almost seduced. Yes.
I feel it might give power to the mind.
Yes, it might. And that is why the master has to do a very fine balancing act, a tightrope walk. You see, it is like this. There is something, a large rock. Have you seen that large rocks have pre-existing cracks, fissures in them? Very fine, almost of the width of a hair. Have you seen? And that is why when they break, there is that zigzag pattern that emerges. Now that zigzag pattern is not random, it was pre-existing. Do you see what I'm saying? Have you seen glass shattering? You take a glass pane and drop it on the floor. It breaks. It doesn't break randomly. The pieces that you see were already existing in the glass. Those fissures were already present. The job of the teacher is to strike at a place where it would break and not strike at a place where it would recoil. The ego is there. If you strike at the right place, it would dissolve. If you strike at the wrong place, it would fight back, it would recoil, it would gain the very energy that you were trying to use to break it.
What do you mean by saying place?
If you are asking me something, then you must use the right words to ask for me to understand. If you are asking me something, then you would take care to choose the right words to ask. Similarly, if I am responding to you, I must take care of the right words to respond. This is what is meant by choosing the right place. That is the essence of wisdom. Choosing it rightly, the appropriate method, the appropriate action. If that same thing falls in the hands of a novice, then instead of breaking the ego, it would empower the ego even more. The fear that you just expressed, that it may embolden the mind. Yes, that would happen. That is why great statements like the Brahma Vakyas of the Upanishads, when they fall in the hands of such people who have not really known them, whose hearts are not aligned with those statements, when those statements fall in the hands of such people, then those statements become very dangerous. Because it must have a great quality like that of a musical instrument. You have to hit it right, at the right time, at the right place, with the right intensity. Just as you do when you woo a man or a woman. Aren't you careful then to say the right things? Because something important is at stake. So you say the right things. You try to make sure that what you are saying or proposing is going to be accepted. Similarly, when you say something to your own mind, if you are really serious about healing the mind, then say it in a way that would be acceptable to the mind. Otherwise, you are just being cavalier. You know that word, cavalier? Unnecessary bravado. So you catch hold of someone and you say, you know who you are nobody. Do you know that this person doesn't exist? And you are pestering him, haranguing him. And God forbid, what if you actually manage to convince him that he doesn't exist? Now he is walking around telling everybody that he doesn't exist. And you read somewhere, or a teacher read somewhere, that he is Brahma. And now he is absolutely sure that he is Brahma. And he is totally inflated now. Who am I? Brahma. So spiritual utterances must be dealt with in total care and consideration. They can be very, very dangerous. They will, just as our friend said, they will lead to an inner fear, and if you use them on others, you will scare them away as well. It often happens, you know. A man comes, I'll just take it. A man comes and he hears something that I say, and he is very pleased, and he comes again and comes again, and his sense of being pleased keeps on increasing, and then one day he returns totally heartbroken. And why? He says, whatever I have heard from you, I have been trying to communicate it to my wife, and today she left me. She's gone. Don't try that. It is best when it rises directly from your heart, even if it does not sound very wise, very Brahminical, very erudite. Even if it sounds very simple and ordinary, yet it is deeply spiritual if it is coming right from your heart. And that is the essence of spirituality. Not to live by the calculating mind, but to live from the innocent heart. That's all. Yes, please.
A couple of questions. To me, what I'm hearing then is that it's using thought to deal with thought. So is it using thought as a mechanism to deal with thought until you have thought on side and then saying, you're nothing? You know, is it like kind of a getting the ego on side, but then saying you're nothing? Or is it a different...
No, it is different. It is quite different.
It's quite different.
It
So
is quite
that
different.
You're saying that it's about living in the world and just taking yourself less serious, just being innocent in what's happening, but not seeing the world as an illusion.
More of this. Let me exemplify. If you have thoughts, then those thoughts always come from your experience, your beliefs, your past. A kid is standing in front of you. How do you communicate the essence to the kid? Would you use thought? Or would you rather look at the kid, be lovingly with the kid, and in being with the kid, you would know how to communicate. And that method of communication which is applicable and suitable to the kid cannot be found in any textbook. Textbooks can give general methods, but no kid is general. No human being is general. Each of us is uniquely conditioned. Are we not? So each of us requires a special and unique treatment which no book can offer, because no book is vast enough to contain methods suitable to every individual in every different situation. So even though you are giving a statement to the kid, and the statement you could say is similar to a thought, but that statement is not a product of thought. You said using thought to deal with thought. No. Using attention to produce the right action. Using attention to produce the right action, not using thought to deal with thought. Because if you will use thought, then what you will get is a thought which will be a misfit. You will be saying something to the kid which has previously been used with another kid. Now it might have been successful in case of that kid, but it may fall totally flat in case of this kid. Let me give another example. The questions that are generally raised when I sit with people for discussions are no new questions. You know that if you have attended a few talks or satsangs, you very well know that there is just a narrow range of questions from where 80% of them come. Is that not so? If 10 get raised in a session, 7 or 8 of them are more or less similar to what you would have heard elsewhere. Yes? Now what do? The moment this question comes, should I repeat an answer that I gave the previous evening? I assure you, this question that came the previous evening as well, in some other form maybe. Now what do? Should I repeat that answer? If I do repeat, would that answer carry any soul?
No.
Would you like it if I just keep playing the same audio track again and again? So even if the question is the same, the words must be different. And what would decide the suitable words for this occasion? Thought? No, because I have no time to think. As you are asking me, do you see that I have time to think? Do you feel that I am thinking before answering? All thought requires at least some time. Do I have that space available with me? It's not available. So I can be afraid and hence fall back on security by using a previous and safe answer. That would be injustice. That would make the session totally lifeless. Then we can't even say that it is a live session, because it is not live anymore, it is dead. You are getting what I'm saying? Not using thought. It is possible to operate from a thoughtless center and yet produce action of the highest quality. It is possible to speak from a center of cleanliness, of nothingness, and yet come up with a 2-hour or 10-hour session. One could speak from another center also. I could speak from a rehearsed and well-practiced center also. But that would be so boring. Would that not be? Even more boring than this. It is possible. It is very much possible.
Enjoy very much that you're saying actually how to befriend your mind and to have your mind cooperate. So actually there's a point in life, it seems like to me, where my mind actually started loving this whole thing. Or am I fooling myself?
Never talk of mind control. And don't be afraid of fooling yourself. We all say that the mind needs to be restored to the center. But we never ask, why did the mind first of all escape away from the center? There must have been some kind of dislike. Now do you want to shackle the mind and forcefully drag it all the way back to the center? Or would you rather send it a loving invitation to come back to the center? Huh? What do you want to do?
Yeah,
That, right? So send the mind a loving invitation. At the center does not lie fear. At the center, have faith, lies only relaxation.
If I make a decision to a loving
Invitation.
invitation, loving is always with the opposite extreme. I will also have fear because I decided to.
Do you love through a decision? I'm sure, very sure, we all know love. Is love a decision?
No.
Huh? Sending a loving invitation is not a decision, it is love itself. When you love, then your invitation is full of love. And if you don't love, and your invitation is looking like love, then what do you call it? If somebody doesn't really love you, but is talking to you using words of love, then what do you call it? Hypocrisy and deception. We are not talking of that. We are talking of actually seeing the futility of using enforcement. We are talking of seeing that actually you do love. And when you do love, why stand against yourself? Who has been able to ever tame the mind? Who has been able to ever tame the mind? Show me one man. Show me one man. Oh, people have tried. They have used all kinds of methods which I can say are just violence. Whenever you are using the language of control, it is the language of violence. It is the language of separation. It is the language of colonization. Only those have succeeded who have given up this internal violence of trying to control yourself, of trying to be in charge of your life. And that is love. And that is surrender. And that is faith. Is that not? Huh? Would you rather split yourself against yourself and try to control one part of yourself? What is all this business of mind control? It is one part of the mind trying to control the other part. Who else wants to control? Does the Atman want to control? Only the mind wants to control. So you are saying mind will control mind. Is that not an inner violence? And then you disguise that in fancy names. Whatever you call it, it doesn't matter. Whether you call it bhakti or whether you call it yoga, it is still violence.
In that respect, how do you regard discipline?
Is discipline a thing of enforcement? Do we have discipline here right now? Do you see that we have an order here right now? Is this discipline an artificial or fabricated discipline? Is this discipline coming out of fear? Is it coming out of rules and regulations? Firstly, do we see that this is quite a disciplined gathering? Now, is this discipline like military discipline? Then where is this discipline coming from?
From the same place.
It is coming from your heart and my heart, which are both one. So you don't need discipline. The heart knows its own discipline. But in the name of discipline, all we have is an authoritative enslavement. Is that discipline?
That's why I wanted to ask actually about sadhana again. Because you're talking about a loving invitation in this 14th day. And actually I think like sadhana can be on both ways or on B, but it depends on that. Like if it comes from inside, we just like do any practice like bhakti, chanting, yoga, whatever, it just comes out. There is no goal. I do that because I want to transform myself. But it can be on that path. So if you have like a plan or something.
The real meaning of sadhana is to dissolve that which stands between you and love. I talked of sending a loving invitation to the mind. Now the invitation is always there, because you are not the one who will send the invitation. The invitation is from the center. The invitation is from the heart. The invitation is a permanently standing invitation. It is an open invitation. The mind could have come any time, but the mind does not come. So there is surely something that blocks the mind from accepting that invitation. Sadhana is about melting that wall which blocks. And hence sadhana cannot be limited to a particular activity. And hence sadhana cannot be a matter of discipline, because the blockage is a blockage in life itself. So sadhana has to be 24 hours, 7 days of the week.
Different sadhanas for everything.
Right now, let's say I am calling you in love and there is something that blocks you. Now, would you remove this blockage by going back to your room? When is the time and opportunity to fight that blockage? Come on. Now. So sadhana has to be now. Or would you wait for the right time for sadhana? That I practice my sadhana between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. in the morning. That is what my guru told me. And I practice my sadhana by doing this and that. Now the invitation is now. The blockage is now. The sadhana is 2 days later. What are we talking of? The disease is now. Would the treatment take place in the next birth? Are you getting it, sir? All the symptoms of the disease are visible only in the daily ordinary living. The way you talk to the waiter in the restaurant, the way you deal with the shopkeeper, the way you throw your garbage, the way you talk to a man of a different ethnicity. That is when you come to see of your own internal resistance, don't you? How else will you come to know of yourself? Will you read of yourself in some book? Will some book tell you about yourself? You know yourself only through the direct facts of your daily life, don't you? The way you pick up a mug, the way you eat your food, the way you rush towards the bath. That is how you see yourself. That is how you see all that which blocks you, all that which separates you, your fears, your goals, your hopes, your baggages. Everything is visible in the way you take the next step. The way you pick up the bottle of water. It's all writ large there. Now tell me, what is sadhana? What is sadhana then? Does it need a yoga mat?
It's needed right now.
Here. This is sadhana. But if you have been convinced that your sadhana will be tomorrow morning, then you will miss this moment. And that is the reason why we keep missing this moment, because we are complacent. We say, what is the point in accepting the invitation right now? The real thing is going to happen tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Now the lover is calling right now, and you are saying, I'll respond then. Now the moment is gone, the party is over. Then there is another invitation and another blockage. But you are not open to look even at that, because then you are dealing with an imaginary lover. Are you getting this? What is discipline? What is sadhana? What is it that you need to know? Do you need to know esoteric practices, or do you need to know your life? Do you need to know why the stars are configured in some way, or do you rather need to know why you purchase a kurta of a particular shape, size, color, texture, dimension? Do you know that all your life is contained in your choice of this kurta? Do you know that this is not a random decision? The total history of mankind converged in that moment when you were making that purchase. All the dinosaurs, all the kings, queens, wars, kingdoms, gurus, meteors, satellites, all your ancestors, all came together in that decision, in that moment when your card was being swiped. Now if you could pay attention to that swipe, then you know everything. No, you'd rather read a book, would you? I have nothing against books, by the way. But even when you are reading a book, are you reading the one who is reading? Do read books, but also read the reader. Never slip. Sadhana, sadhana, sadhana. Continuous sadhana. Life is love and life is sadhana, and all is parallel and concurrent and much the same.
So sadhana, we observe. Do we ask ourselves why we do that? Or what do we feel when we do that? We just observe.
Your observation begins with you. You say, I am observing. So, your total focus is on that which is being observed, because you take this observer for granted. Your process begins with yourself, right? Suppose you are walking down this lane.
Yes.
You say, now I am observing. So, this person is observing. And that is your beginning point.
Yes.
No, the beginning point must be a little beyond, a little further back. You must be observing this person who is claiming to observe. There is this shop that is displaying holy candles, or whatever that means. Holy candles are there, of various sizes, shapes, and they are claiming that they give you orgasmic pleasures, in whichever way. Now there is the person that is watching the candles. The observation does not start there. Observation means seeing that this person is interested in those candles.
But how do you observe? Do you question why do I ask?
By taking yourself very, very casually, by not at all being serious about it.
Yeah, so laughing. Like
Yes. So let's say my name is Meera. Amira, again those candles. Huh? Again, when you are very, very casual about yourself, not at all worried, hassled, not at all serious or burdened, that is when witnessing occurs. Witnessing is your nature. Witnessing is nothing to be practiced or cultivated.
No, but because I'm asking, because myself when I do that, sometimes I just go, okay, why you do that? Maybe because your parents and your family.
That is because you are, yes,
you
that is because you are taking yourself seriously and trusting yourself that you are capable of observing. No, you won't observe. You would be observed. You are not the subject who would observe. You are in a way the object that would be observed. And that happens. I know these words are getting a little complicated, but the matter is very simple. Just take yourself lightly and laugh at yourself. We all very well know what is going on.
No, but now I realize that every time I was thinking, I was observing myself, I might not have been observing.
That was just conceptualization. That was just information processing.
Yeah.
And that was all within the domain of the person. The person was not being observed. The person is not observed through any observer. The person is observed automatically. Witnessing is natural. It happens, it just happens. You know very well. Are we not all aware of our inner conspiracies? Don't we all know what is really going on? Oh, we may not acknowledge it, but don't we all know really? Tell me, seriously.
Yeah.
Huh? That is witnessing. But it really becomes witnessing when you are not serious, when you are not afraid, when you can laugh at yourself and say, see again, you love food so much that out of these 10 shops, you are gazing only at those burgers. Huh? But if you are very serious about your respectability and your waist size and your commitments that you made to the dietitian, then you will not acknowledge. Witnessing will not happen. Witnessing is the ability to smile at yourself. Witnessing can happen only when you do not think that you are too important or too big. That is why some people refer to themselves not in the first person. Huh? Some of the so-called sages also would do that. Swami Ram had this practice. He would not say I. How would he say? See, they are again making fun of Ram. He is referring to himself. And what is he saying? What is he saying? Okay, I won't speak if you want. What is he saying? Swami Ram is referring to himself. And what is he saying? See, they are making fun of Swami Ram. See, Ram is again afraid. See, these monkeys are again chasing Ram. He is not saying the monkeys are chasing me. He is saying the monkeys are chasing Ram. Now, this slight distance from yourself is witnessing. This slight distance from yourself. Don't take it personally. That is witnessing. All that witnessing means is that life is not to be taken personally. There is nothing personal out here. Don't get hurt. Huh? So what's your name?
Alex.
Alex. Oh, Alex again failed. Oh, Alex again forgot. Huh? Oh, Alex again overslept. Simple. Now you can smile. But if you say, I again forgot, that appears like such a big crime. Me the criminal, me the guilty one. Now the next time I won't acknowledge. Because if there is guilt and crime, there is also punishment. And I don't want to be punished. And I don't want to be punished. When you say Alex did it, then let Alex suffer. Alex did it, Alex would suffer. I'll continue. I am relaxed. Now do you see a similarity with faith here? Even if Alex is suffering, I am cool. That is witnessing and that is faith and all is one.
A story with Swami Ram that when he went to Europe for the first time, a couple of people started looking at, he was wearing saffron. He was also fair and wearing saffron, so a couple of youngsters started laughing at him, calling him Red Monkey. So in a few seconds, he too started dancing with them. Red Monkey, Red Monkey.
You see, they were mocking him, calling him a red monkey. He also started laughing and dancing, calling himself Red Monkey. So yes, indeed I am looking like a red monkey. Why not join you? Why resist you and put myself unnecessarily in trouble? Why identify with this redness? Why identify with this face? I will also join the chorus. Yes, red monkey, red monkey. Incidentally, when you do that, then the ones mocking you run away.